Good morning. Peace. How y'all doing today? Welcome to 420 Fellowship, 420 God's Bible. Welcome, everybody. If you haven't ordered your copies yet, get them now. You can DM me an order, or you can order online at 420godsbible.com. The website right there. So yeah, just let us know. And also, let us know what you're smoking on. What you smoking today? Morning. I'm listening to a Russian composer. Someone at my job suggested that I listen to a Russian composer. He gave me two of them. One Russian, one German. This one is Dmitri Shostakovich. So I like to start off with a J, some music, and some scriptures. All right. So what are you smoking on? Indica, sativa. This is a sativa. This is from. It's called Chemdraw. It's from Greenway. I'm sorry, I said Greenway. I apologize. It's from Wave and Green Belt. It's very, very smooth. This is my. I've had a few different strains I've had a few different strains from Wave, and they've always. Hey, good morning, Nicholas. What are you smoking on? They've always come through with something really good. So let's start with that. What you smoking on? Let me know. So this is sativa right here. Nicholas, are you smoking? If so, what is it? Now, last week, we finished up our conversation on gods of Egypt. We always kind of start off with our question, life, your fate or your fault. That's the question we ask. We want to. It's an ongoing poll. We want everybody to kind of chip in on that one. What do you think about life, as it is? Is it yours to make, or does it make it for you? So I'm gonna start this week with a video, and this video is actually gonna be me describing the epiphany I had when I was 17, and I found a video. Let me turn this off. Found a video that goes along with this epiphany I had. So I want you to just kind of tune in and listen to this. Peace, naturally beautiful. I'm about to show this video. Peace. Hope you guys can see this video. James Dean. All right, James. Peace. $10 billion light years away. 100 million light years away. 1,000 light years away. Peace, super fresh. So funny. Hey, wholesome honey. All right, cool. Peace. Thanks, Christelle. So, that video kind of explained what happened, except for I saw this form of God, Most High, the Omnipotent, in the form of a human, but it was like a man's form, a human man's form. So, last week we discussed the gods of Kemet in Egypt, and actually let's start off. So we're gonna just start right off with today's scripture. Today's day 4. He is first. Wisdom is a gift. I present so much. My birth on earth is. I chose to have love as I choose. Spirit of good rules. Time is on my side. As easy it is for me to formally make my mark, I work in speeds immeasurable, so you don't have to. Destined to be, tell them it's me. So last week we discussed the gods of Kemet in Egypt, and God's expression and God's likeness, and how God comes out and expresses himself, herself, and divine male, masculine, female ways. We saw that with Hathor, with Ma'at. We saw that with Thoth, with Asur and Aset. But God, before Abrahamic God, expressed itself in male, female, and animal and non-animal. And then through the millennia, sometimes it changed. There was a time when Akhenaten, who was the god in Egypt a long time ago, combined the female and the male attributes of God to be both. So, and actually we're going to try to discuss that a little longer. We can go more in depth with that subject. We'll probably have Isis on again in about 2 or 3 months. Also, if you look into the Yoruba gods as well, they have the male and female attributes of God. So where I'm saying he is first, when God manifests itself to me, it manifests itself to me as a he. It was a male form after that epiphany. And as I grew, and as I grew in my work, in my journey and walk I understood more. So as God has manifest as woman, she is always manifest as wisdom. God is. She is God. He is God. But as woman, that's wisdom. Shashet, Ma'at were both gods of wisdom. Both of those ladies. So you have to respect the wisdom of the woman. What that wisdom brings. What that divine feminine brings. That divine feminine energy of God is what we have, what we need for balance. Even if you go into the Abrahamic God, you go into Solomon, which wisdom came through all of the women and wives he had. And if you, the first 9 books of Proverbs, sorry about that, first 9 books of Proverbs speak about wisdom. In particular, Proverbs, where it says, wisdom shouts out in the streets and cries. She cries in the square. She calls to the crowd. This is talking about wisdom. Wisdom is the she. Wisdom is the female attribute of God. But you insist on being simple-minded. How long will you mock her, relish your mocking? How long will you fools hate knowledge? Come and listen to my counsel. Share my heart with you and make me wise. Call you so often. I'm skipping through some of these things. When they cry for her answers, she will give it to them. All who will listen, peace, be fear of harm. Wisdom as woman. So as you accept that man, woman, masculine, feminine attributes of God, when you accept woman, and when you accept what God has for you, which is, in my opinion, the wisdom of everything comes through women and man. Go back to the second part. I chose to have love as I choose. Now, as I told you guys before, on my second epiphany, I had to stop fornicating was one of the things. And it's something that, as an adult male, you might get looked at funny. You know, I guess women can do it without any problem. But if a man tells you he's celibate, that doesn't jive well. But when you stop looking for love and gratification and validation from others, which is basically what you're doing when you fornicating. If you have self-love, which is love of self, knowledge of self, God's love, your best love, that's what you have. That's the best love. Proverbs 19:8 says, to acquire wisdom is to love oneself. People who cherish understanding will prosper. So when you choose love, self-love, you have the highest love that there is. And when you choose that self-love, you choose that's the love that God has for you. Where it says, God says, love yourself as God loves you, and love your neighbors as you love yourself. So if you're choosing to love yourself, or you're choosing self-love, you're choosing unconditional agape love. You're choosing love, honesty, loyalty, trust. Those are choices. We can choose to be in some other kind of relationships that are not as satisfying. We can choose to be in abusive relationships, choose to be neglected and ignored, all for the love of another. But if you choose self-love, that's the choice you make, then that choice will keep you grounded. And what comes after that is that you'll find that people around you, the people who you attract to yourself, have that same kind of love as well. They have that same kind of understanding, that same kind of self-love. So, and as easy it is for me to formally make my mark, I work in speeds immeasurable, so you don't have to. Now, what that basically means is that when God is moving through you and God is moving with you and you're one with God, then you work in a speed, you work in a time, you work in a dimension that is in a different level. It's a spiritual level. So you're on a different time. You're on a different time frame. And the time frame we're on right now is a time of enlightenment, time of fulfillment, a time of love, time of chaos, confusion. But through all of this, I remember I heard somebody say before, where was God during slavery? And I said, well, what about Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner? Because both of those people had faith. They were on a different spiritual level. And that faith and love that they had was able to lead rebellions, able to save people, able to have courage. John Turner, who was a fighter, God was there as well. So God is here right now in these troubled times we're living in right now. But love is where you got to start at. Self-love, God love, agape love. That's where it starts. Now, from last week, dropped so many gems. Thank you for the word. Thank you. Peace. Now, what I wanted to do last week, I told you guys I had a new segment that I wanted to start last week, which was called Counting Your Blessings. Right? And I didn't go into anything, but last week I was thinking about it. Oh, I had two things actually. Last week, Counting Your Blessings was one. And the other thing was the question about who had greater miracles, Moses or Jesus. So, now count my blessings. I don't know if you guys want to contribute on this or not, but I've been in about 4 or 5 different car accidents. And each time I came out unscathed. And they were all kind of serious. One time I was with, after high school, I was with my buddy Kevin. We got hit going up Branch Avenue. Airbag popped out. I didn't get hurt. Nobody really got hurt. Kevin got hit. One time I was with my man JP. We got hit over on Benham Road. Somebody ran a light, smacked into the side of us. Could have been a lot worse. Everybody got out unscathed. There was one time I was with my buddy Cordell and his cousin Jimmy, and we got hit in Delaware. We got hit, spinned around, pulled off. So I was blessed. If you've been blessed, let me know how that happened. How'd that go for you? Put something into the comments. Let me know. I'm looking for my guest. Let me try to give him a call right now. Okay. Said 10:30. So yeah, so what you smoking on? Let's go back to that one. Right now I'm smoking on some Chem Dog. It's from King Louis. Okay. King Louis. Is that an indica or sativa? Is it King Louis an indica or a sativa? Which one is it? Here's my other question. Okay, so Moses or Jesus? Heavy endo. Okay, cool. Sweet OG. Christelle on some, okay. Christelle is on the sweet OG. What's that? I wonder what that's a mixture of. And Wholesome Honey has the King Louis. My guest said he should be on some Sour Dub and Moon by my blunt. Are these from dispensaries or are they from your own homegrown stash in your completely legal state or not? Sour Dub and Moon Blow, my blunt. WB 145 got the sourdough and moon blow. Shenanigans, peace. Shenanigans. What are you smoking on, Shenanigans? Anybody? What y'all think? What y'all think about that question about Moses or Jesus? Who had the greater miracles? Dispensary, but I'm also growing my own. Okay. Moses had 42 miracles. I think Jesus had like 10. Moon bow with Z Skittles. Okay, and Dosey Dos. Moon bow. Is it moon bow or moon bow? I'm going to go with Moses on the miracles. I know Jesus raised Lazarus and walked on water. And he made a lot of people. Oh, this is Dmitri Shostakovich, string quartet number 2. Yeah, I give it to Jesus though. I'm not, I was feeling Moses too. Okay, I was feeling Moses. I give it to Jesus. I'm not, this is not the truth. This is just an opinion. I'm Moon Bow. Okay, Moon Bow. Yeah, because we can walk through both of their miracles, right? And look at them. Now, feeding the multitudes. I think Moses was raised by Pharaoh's son. Even Jesus quoted him big in him often. And Jesus also, Real Doc. That's our guest right there. And Jesus also, peace, Real Doc. Jesus also was in Egypt for how many years as a kid? I think at least till he was 31, 32, when he met Yahya, John the Baptist. So it's a lot to be discussed on that one. All right, y'all. We're gonna bring in our guest right now. He just joined us, and this is Almighty Smith, God. So let's bring him right on in. John was his cousin. John was Jesus' cousin? Is that what you're saying? Shenanigans. And definitely, I believe we're scheduled to have you on next week. So we can get deeper into this subject. All right. We'll talk. Let me bring in Almighty. Like I said, now this is Kim Dog from oh man, where at? Yeah, this is Kim Dog from Wave out in Greenbelt. It's very, very, very smooth, very relaxing. I'm still waiting on you. Did you get the invite? Try it again. It should be something you could tap to join. I'm not seeing you on live yet. Unable to join. Try it again.
Getting the invite? All right. Peace.
Hey, peace.
Almighty. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing awesome. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Um, so let's just start out. I'm gonna start out with your name, brother.
Almighty Smith.
Okay. Now,
Almighty
what?
Smith.
How'd you come up? How'd you receive that name? How'd you come up with that?
Well, it's an first let me say this. That's not my complete name. I'm
Hmm.
named after my Father in heaven, but
Hmm.
the Almighty part is the name I actually go by. But the name actually derives from my previous name in numerology. The
Hmm.
name translates into God Almighty Smith. So I just took on that name as to honor my Father in heaven.
That's what's up. I can dig it. Um, Alpha Infinite Alpha is my name through numerology, and
How'd you come up with that name?
well, through same on the same tip. Three six
Okay.
nine is a three, a six, and a nine, which are my numbers, which are light, enlightenment, infinite light, beginning of light. So that's me there. Now, and when did you how long, like as far as numerology, how long have you been studying numerology? How long have you been into that science?
Oh, numerology. It's been some years, probably close to maybe 20 years. I was always interested in it, and then once you get involved in it, you know that it's actually another language, and it's fascinating. You can see like how certain numbers equate to certain. No, let me put it this way. You know, you when people are building, doing architecture, they pay attention to numerology when they're putting the building numbers up. You know, it's a message to those who actually can who can recognize it, and it's a way to to give respect to the people to religions or beliefs that they believe into. That's all it is. But it's actually another language. It's numbers. It can actually be another language.
Hmm. It's just like coding. I mean, coding is numbers.
Exactly.
Coding
Exactly.
is language. It's different languages. So that it's definitely in these sciences of numbers and numerology and understanding these things are have been studied for thousands of years. It's if you decide to study or whatever you decide to study, you can learn from it.
Hmm.
I've talked to your sister and I are good friends, and I've talked to her about some of the things that you and I have experienced differently, and she's always told me I need to talk to you because she said you and I think a lot alike.
Hmm.
And coincidentally, things happen, right? For me and for you, she's told me some things where it might be something that seems like deja vu, or it might be something that's foreshadowing. But you see things that are happening, and then you get like a confirmation. Now, for me, when I have a confirmation, that's God's work showing me everything is in full cycle. If I see something, perfect example. Last week, I was talking about I was riding my bicycle, and I was thinking about something I was talking want to talk about on the show 2 weeks ago, and I was thinking about Costa Rica and Puerto Vida because that's where I had the second epiphany. And the guy on the bicycle rolled past me with a shirt that said Puerto Vida, Costa Rica. Now, I can't. That don't mean nothing to anybody else. You know what I mean? But I know that happened. So um, I got another friend who we joke about his father. He said there is no such thing as coincidences, and there aren't. So now with numerology, um, I want to talk to you about the video. I saw your video, okay,
Hmm.
and it was an amalgamation of a lot of things. I wanted to have, and I apologize for that. I wanted to have a
No, no, no
copy of it
problem, no problem. We can
to
direct
show it.
them to the video. It's on YouTube. It's Almighty
Okay,
Smith. Yeah, they can
if
check
you
it
could
out online after the show.
my bad. If you want to too, you could if you could pin it, I could pin it into the comments if you put the link in there.
Okay,
But
yeah, I'll do that.
but when I looked at that video, I saw it as an awakening, right?
Hmm.
Um, it was there's a person who is getting a message that he has to be superb. He has to be beyond great. And that's who you are now, Almighty.
Hmm. Right.
So that's what I got from it.
Exactly.
So let me ask you now, what's your spiritual background like as far as how you grew up? Like, what kind of religious background, or what did you get to the point where you are? And where are you right now as far as your views on God? Just give me some insight about
Well, I can say my views. I grew up in a Catholic church. I sort of strayed away from that as I matured, and I saw myself slowly coming back to Christianity and in belief in God and Jesus. And there was a time I didn't believe in any of that. So through my journey, I pretty much went through different types of spiritual beliefs, and I always looked at it as though I was just observing. I was actually I guess you could say I was a part of it, but I always looked at it as though, look, I'm observing this, and if there's something that resonates with me, maybe I'll stick around. But if as soon as I saw something that didn't agree with me, I always backed off. Because that's the one thing I always noticed, or that I learned. You better know who you are before you go into anything. Because when I made a decision that, look, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be, and as soon as I came into something that was counter to what I believed in, on my teachings that didn't resonate with me, I had no problem with backing out of anything. So with me doing that, like I said, I was a Nation of Islam for a while, a Sunni Muslim for a while, those different sects, spirituality. I kept learning these things, and what I came to the conclusion was a lot of these things are actually saying the same things. They're pretty much the same stories, just told in a different way. So when I started looking at things like that, I said, okay, let me try to put some of this stuff together and see how it fits into my life. Because when you start waking up to this thing, like I don't know what your audience is like and how far they progressed in this thing. But this thing that we call spirituality, it is a thing. I think when we say spirituality, we minimize it in a certain way, but it's almost like a consciousness that's just that we can tap into, and you better hope that you can receive it. If one thing that I find difficult, especially you may have experienced this yourself, trying to explain something that that you're trying to explain a feeling to someone who's not getting that feeling, and it seems strange to someone when you're trying to explain this stuff, but has to do a lot with what you're feeling. So when you get a whole bunch of people in the room who are feeling the same thing, and y'all can vibe off of it, bro, let me tell you, you can literally change the world.
it.
But you got to be careful because really one man can change it, but if you start getting into the realm where you're trying to convince people what you're going through and and trying to get them to see it, the only thing you're going to do is diminish your own flame. So I learned that, and I pretty much stayed in my own lane. And when I started staying in my own lane, things just started coming to me. Things just started happening. That thing that we call God was guiding me through my whole life. And look, and maybe we won't do it on this show, but bro, I always love to come back. I can explain how numerology helped me through that. When people start getting involved in the numerology and seeing how it can, what it does for you and what it's saying to you, you can look. But with me personally, I can look back through my entire life to see how those numbers have been guiding me. And when I say numerology, I'm literally saying that's how God was communicating with me. As I'm not giving power to those numbers. I'm
Hmm.
that was the form of communication that God Almighty, my Father in heaven, used to help me along. Because and look, if you don't mind me skipping ahead a little bit, and that's what we
Speak
know
on it, God.
with this with your channel when we're talking about marijuana, that could be another form of communication. There's no way someone can tell me that when you're not smoking on that herb, that your consciousness isn't going somewhere else, or that you're not picking up on something. That if someone who's smoking it and is not experiencing that, then pretty much that's at their loss, because there's a lot of people who smoke weed or whatever, and they take their consciousness to a whole nother level. Now, what I've learned that has worked for me is whenever I come in contact with some good weed or anything like that, I always instructed on what I wanted to do for me. A lot of times when I see the younger culture, the first thing they want to do, oh man, I'm about to get fucked up. Oh man, I'm about to get or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to get just that. You're going to get
Mm-hmm.
just what you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've learned is before I start
Uploads.
in anything, I'm talking to it and say, look, this is what I expect from you today. This is what we're going to do today. Let's do it. That has
Mm-hmm.
always worked for me. And it's almost like, some people may find it far fetched that you're actually talking to a plant. But trust me, when you're smoking on that plant is actually smoking, is actually talking to you. So when
Oh,
there's nothing
brother.
wrong with you talking to that plant, because that plant is alive and it's actually experiencing life through you once you take it in. Y'all become one. You and that plant become one.
Mm.
So that's what I've learned. And look,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said before, when as soon as I stopped trying to convince other people of what it was doing,
Mm-hmm.
it just made me more stronger because I didn't have to convince anyone but myself. And
Mm-hmm.
and, and that's always been my stance on this. And I don't know where you come off with that. Do you agree with what I'm saying?
Man, listen, brother, you giving me goose pimples. Everything you just said was 100%, 100 on so many levels. Um, I put that thing up with I put that meme up with Bob Marley saying tell God it's illegal, right? Now we talking about this plant. There's a bunch of things you said that you just covered, man. That I first of all, I believe the burning bush that Moses was smoking to get the wisdom was the ganja marijuana plant. Um, there are scriptures about Jesus using marijuana oil to heal people. Um, this plant that God placed on this earth for us that directly connects with your endocannabinoid system. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, that's correct.
You have a system that is made for this plant. And when that system, as you said, when you tap into it and when you tell it what to do, I remember my father used to tell me that marijuana is an enhancer. It's a stimulant. If you want whatever you wanted to do, it'll do. Um, and so, like you said, if you say you can get fucked up, you will. I smoke and I read and I go into scripture, and that's the mission of what I'm doing with this book. Every morning, you go there to the scripture. You going into the place where you're going with the plant and God, and then you're going to journal about it. So you're doing those three things, and then you're going to have a connection with God, the plant, and yourself. And you're gonna write about it, and you're gonna journal about it, and then it's gonna come out. And that's what I did with this. That's how it started. That's how I finished it, and that's how this whole everything became. Um, the plant that you talked about, and the plant life, and everything else as well. That plants give us. I got another friend who's Farmer Hodge, the God. He's doing he's a farmer. He farms. He has micro. He does micro herbs, but he talks to his plants. He tells me he talks to trees, and he started
Mm-hmm.
doing these things after he became a farmer. And he told me his plants listen. I believe him. I didn't tell him he's
Mm-hmm.
nuts. He's crazy. He telling me this is how he grows his plants. How can I, not a farmer, tell a farmer how to grow his crops?
Mm-hmm.
Now everything is alive. Everything has God's energy, a whole energy. Everything has God's vibration. And what you spoke about earlier as well is that vibration that you go into a room with, and Christelle spoke on it earlier as well. There's a frequency that spirituality is on, okay, and anybody can tune into it, and it's always shooting. It's always shooting out, right? It's always putting out its message, and people decide to go into it or not, and it's a mean walk, and what I mean by that is it's not a joke,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't say you believe that everything is good, God is good, and then do hateful, evil things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do to those things, there will be consequences and repercussions. The wages of sin are death. That's real. And you can believe it or not, but when you get the knowledge of what you know, and then you try to manipulate death or manipulate people with that power, then you're gonna pay for it. Good and
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you spoke on that, man. That was very deep, and I do want to like I do want to have you back as well to do the to get deeper into numerology. I want to know because a lot of things that I've learned through spirituality. I mean, I'm gonna use that. I'm using that in a very small term, as you said. But through this consciousness and this walk have been given to me. Nobody taught me anything. It was pointed out to me, and I was pointed into a direction to either look up or to go to. But nobody came to me. So that's why can't nobody tell me different because you didn't show me
Hmm.
what I know. This
Right.
wisdom that I'm talking about that I didn't have, that I didn't possess, poured into my chamber, and I can't get it out. And I'm trying to get it out day by day, page by page. I'm giving it out as I can in small doses. But I got the keys to the universe. I'm telling you, and everybody got them. But you got
Yep.
to know that this is a mean walk, and you got to mean what you say.
Hmm.
Say what you mean, and that's all it is to it. Can't be a liar. Can't be a backslider, or you gonna feel it.
That's right.
So, man, that's what's up, brother. Um, with that, I want to get into what else we want to talk about, which is the ADOS.
Mm.
Now, I know that you're. I mean, I've talked to you a little bit about it before, but I want to just start with what does ADOS stand for? ADOS, correct?
Yes, it's an acronym for American Descendants of Slavery. It's it's a movement that would that particular branch of it, A.D.O.S, was actually started by Antonio Moore, I think Yvette Carnell. If you actually pull up the Wikipedia on it, you'll see their names pop up first. But A.D.O.S is what is what the movement that I'm a part of. Now I came in maybe about less than a year ago to bring some energy into the movement. Now, look, from what I observed by me coming in, now I've known about this thing for years, probably since maybe 2015. And I kept hearing rumblings that they were going to be they were looking at getting reparations for Black people in the country, and very similar to what the Indians received, the Jews, the Japanese, and the Italians received. And I said, okay, why haven't the American descendants of slaves received something similar to that? And so once I started getting into it, and I started saying, look, somebody has literally dropped the ball on this, and we as a people need to get behind this and try to make this happen. So me just looking at this from the outside, using some of my business skills that I picked up over the years, said, look, this isn't going to happen unless we get some really good energy on this and get the people who are going to benefit off of this to just at least be bringing it up, or let it be the first thing off their lips. This should be part of the culture, because that's what we literally dropped the ball at. No one is talking about it. So I said, let me get some energy behind it. So that's where you see the channel. I use the Dr. Manhattan thing
Hmm.
as a part of it. When I woke up, I took on something that I can actually build a legacy behind, that I can give
Hmm.
back to my people. And I said, look, this would be a good one. And so,
Hmm.
but look, it's been a hard journey, because, like I said before, this is specifically to African Americans who are descendants of slaves, not just Black people. And when I say that a lot of politicians, let's say Barack Obama, or the former president, or the new VP, Camilla Harris, they wouldn't even be recipients of that. They're Black, but they're not descendants of slaves. So could we expect them, who aren't African American, or descendants of slaves, to be pushing for that when it doesn't directly affect them? So that may or may not be their fight. But for us who are descendants of slaves, we need to pick up that mantle and bring some energy into this, so we can actually make a movement. And when I say to build the movement, and when I say reparations, man, I've heard numbers on the low end of $500,000 per per person. That's on the low. Now, how that's going to be dispersed, I've heard things that there'll be a $8,000 to $9,000 check dispersed every month, either between 5 to 7 years, stretched out.
Hmm.
So this is a big deal, and this would be the largest influx of wealth to ever hit the Black Americans in this country ever. So this is a big deal, and we have an election cycle here that we can actually push this through. Because I took the stance that whatever candidate is going to be pushing for this, they'll get the black vote. So that's the struggle that I've been getting. When you're telling people, especially black people, you may have to get out here and vote for Trump, that rubs a lot of people the wrong way because I'm strictly doing politics. I'm not in here for the feel good. I've been Democrat for the Democratic Party. I've been rolling with them for decades, generations. But what has that really gotten us? We still haven't gotten reparations, and we're still dealing with the same issues we've been dealing with for literally decades. So I'm taking a stand. So whatever candidate is going to push for A.D.O.S to push this through, that's the candidate that get our vote. And I would and some of the things I talked about on my channel were this may be the biggest black Republican turnout in history if this goes the way that I have planned. I have a fast coming up, not too far from the out the from not too far out from the election, where I'm going to be fasting for 30 days on the street of Washington D.C. I'll be doing this without food or water, and I'll do my best to stay on the street. That I don't really know how they're going to react to me being on the street with a camera recording myself doing this, but I've done it before and it's been documented. I've fasted for 11 days straight without food or water. So it's something I've done. I did it under a doctor's supervision. So it has been done. It's similar to what Gandhi did back in the 1930s when he was bringing attention to his movement, and he was quite effective with it. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to get people actually to support it or just bring it to their attention. And I'm gonna throw my hat into this at least until after this election. But I'm gonna always have this movement on the back burner, pushing for it, no matter what I do with my channel. And so that's where I'm at with that. And look, let me say one thing. I've been doing some research. I don't know if doing this fast, if I can even smoke. So I know I can't eat food or water, but
Uh-huh.
doing this fast, I haven't really got a definitive answer if I can even smoke marijuana during the fast. So this may be a complete dry fast, no food, no water, and no marijuana. So I've been
So that
keeping myself clean. I'm vegetarian. So like I said, I haven't drinking in a good while any alcohol. So I have a very clean system. So look, I'm gonna do my best to stay out there for 30 days without food or water to bring attention to this.
personally provide Christelle will personally provide the ganja for you, she said.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
If you can't smoke. Hey man, listen man, you're an amazing brother, man, and I mean just hearing this little bit that you told me. Um now as far as the ADOS movement, what I want to ask you now, you did speak about something like how other people have gotten reparations. Now, what do you think about um a separate because I've heard different movements before, right? Now there's a reparation and repatriation movement. Marcus Garvey was a and Pan Africanists have this, which is a repatriation movement. Do you have any ties to any groups like that, or are you completely separate, or is it like? Because I know I've heard people say, some people say, you know, there are people who say that America is ours and we belong here. Then there are people who say let's repatriate, go back. Um, I I I look at it like I think that black people should have similar to what Israel had, right? Where Israelis, Jews were going around the world for years without a state. And in 1947, uh, they got this land back, but it wasn't done right, in my opinion. You know, it's still not done right because they took over the land. But if we had
Hmm.
an agreement where I'm talking about African nations who owe reparations, America who owes reparations, Spain, Portugal, all these nations were a part of the slave trade,
Hmm.
and all of us throughout the entire diaspora have been affected by it. Africans in Jamaica, Africans in Brazil, all of us. Now, if we had a Wakanda kind of state where we built this new untaxable paradise where people from the diaspora could go back to, which was funded by the people who took what they took. What do you think about that?
Look, I'm not against any of that, I guess my stance on it, as far as what Marcus Garvey was saying, he was saying go back to Africa. That may or may not be the right thing to do. I'm not against that, but I said, but even with if that was the direction we were going to do, we still have to take care of business here in the states. This isn't even really taking that seriously. We have something out in California called it was Bill AB 2123, where California was actually going to be was passing a bill for reparations. But this is not at the federal level. So look, either way, once we start saying, look, reparations, we agree on reparation and how it's going to happen, we can go into what we're going to do with it. What do we do? What do we do with the money? Do we go back to Africa? Some of us may say, let's go back to Africa. Someone say, no, let's stay here. We're here. Let's do it here. Because look, me personally, I wouldn't mind going back to Africa, but I think we need to take care of home first because this is our home. A lot of people may be against going to Africa starting over. I mean, because that's essentially what you're going to be doing. And if you are going to go to Africa, it will be beautiful to have that reparations money following along with you. So look, either way, we still have to get agree upon one of these candidates agreeing to
Reparations.
put reparations and making it and turning into federal law. That's my stance on. So until we get to
Now,
that point, I mean, we can't really do anything more about it. It's just talk at this point.
okay. Have there been any candidates? Because you spoke about Donald Trump. What are the stances of the Democrats on reparations? The two leading candidates, Biden and Kamala, and Trump and Pence. Do you know the stances from either one of those candidates on anything on reparations?
As far as Kamala Harris, I've heard it brought up that that she wouldn't be opposed to it, but that's for me. That's all political talk. Until I actually see something, that they're really going to do it. I'm not buying any of it because I think we have an election cycle here, and I think we can capitalize on it if someone really wants to take this seriously, and if we come as together as a group, as far as the black vote, we can actually push this together. Now, as far as Trump, now my stance with Trump is I really don't think he cares either way, him or Pence, because I honestly think that I don't think Trump is going to make it in to the White House. It's looking like he may not make it in. But what I was proposing is if the black people put our vote together and we do politics for once without doing
Mm-hmm.
voting with emotion, we might
Mm-hmm.
be able to get reparations through. Saying, look, let's go to Trump and say, look,
Mm-hmm.
we'll put you in the office, but you better
Mm-hmm.
make sure you give
Mm-hmm.
us reparations. So that's
Man.
how I'm looking at it. I'm really,
Mm-hmm.
I never even took the stance on, look, how do you feel on it? Because a politician can pretty much say anything. But if we want to
Mm-hmm.
do politics, if you want this vote, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure we get reparations. And that's what black people have essentially dropped the ball at. We can't seem to come together, or we've been voting Democrat for so long. Now, look, I have no problem
Mm-hmm.
with the Democrats, but if you're going to be talking about doing business, I'd rather do business with a Republican than a Democrat. Because if you look at how some of these cities are run throughout the country, let's say Baltimore for one, it's a Democratic city. Look,
Mm-hmm.
they pretty much dropped the ball on everything down there. Now, look, if would it be different if the Republicans were in there? I honestly would think it would probably be a little better. It may be better. It
Mm-hmm.
may be better. So look, I'm not against the Democrats or the Republicans, but I
Mm-hmm.
will say this from what me just observing when it comes to doing business and me being a business owner, the Republican Party have been fantastic to me doing this whole COVID epidemic. So would I
Mm-hmm.
still be feeling fantastic if the Democrats were in office, brother? I really don't know. I really,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say from my observation, what I've been going through, it seems like the Republican Party um, has pretty much taken care of the business owners through this. So it seems as though they understand business. So let's do business, let's do politics, and I honestly believe no matter if a lot of people don't like to deal with the Republican Party, they feel as though they're racist. A lot of black people in this country associate racism with the Republican Party, and I for one don't believe that. I honestly feel as though the Republican Party has been hijacked by racism. It
Mm-hmm.
has been hijacked by racism. So look, I'm opening up the door to either party, whichever party is going to
Mm-hmm.
put
Is on
reparations.
our agenda.
It's on
I
our agenda,
got you.
just like that.
That's it. Ice Cube has a. Have you seen this thing with the contract
Yes,
for
I have.
America?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
And have you tried to get in contact with him? Because I mean, I
I
think that if
have.
that'll be just because y'all on the same notion. You know what I mean? Like, stop playing. You know what I mean?
Look,
It's,
I actually I reached out to
stop
him.
playing.
No, this dude has, yeah. We need to get, like, I actually would nominate him to be one of the leaders of this reparations movement. I think he's a good speaker, and I think he will push this
Hmm.
movement awesomely. But look, at one
Hmm.
point I was looking at I reached out to Nas, just through emails and the
Hmm.
people in his entourage, and said, look, we need to get some attention on this. Now I just viewed this album.
ISIS knows Nas.
Yes, I just looked on
ISIS
his
right here.
album.
She know Nas. ISIS,
That,
don't
no,
you
that's
know
that's my
Nas?
that's my favorite rapper. Yeah, he just had an album just came out, King's Disease. And brother, you would think
Hmm.
Nas, out of all people, he would be talking about A.D.O.S. Nate made not one mention of it, made not
Hmm.
one mention. And the people who he's been who've been listening to his records for all these 20 something years, they will be the ones who would greatly benefit off of this. So I think that's where
Hmm.
we're dropping the ball at. The people who in power and the people who have influence haven't been bringing this up, haven't been putting this out into the mainstream. We can't depend on the media to push this out for us. It has to start. This has to be a grassroots movement. It has to be organic by the people who are going to benefit from it. We can't expect other people who aren't going to benefit from this to push this movement forward. It
Well,
won't happen that way.
listen, brother. Um, we running out of time. Where can people get in contact with you? How can we get in contact with the A.D.O.S movement? Let me get your information real quick so I can put it in the comments. Where can they get in contact with you? What's your Instagram so they can follow you?
It's the real Dr. DC, the real Dr. DC, or you can pull up the video on YouTube. Almighty Smith, birth of what was it? Almighty Smith, the birth of Dr. DC. Let me
Okay.
scroll that up. And the name of the Instagram is the real Dr. DC.
Okay. Real Dr. DC.
Yep.
And he's in the
The underscore real underscore Dr. underscore DC.
okay. Real talk. Yes, indeed. Man, it's been a pleasure um having you on as a guest.
No,
We
I
definitely
appreciate
will.
it.
Okay, yeah, man, we're gonna keep in touch, keep in contact, which I'm gonna see, and also if you can give some type of updates for me, man, on the page about what's going on with your fast, post some videos or anything.
I
I'm
will.
gonna keep that pinned up. Everybody else, if you want to get in touch with him, the real Dr. DC on Instagram and the A.D.O.S movement. If you support it, if you don't, look into it, research it, see what you think about it. Um, like I said, man, appreciate you, man. And on top of that, we will get into. I really want to get into the numerology aspect. We can go into that next time, but we'll just cover that topic.
We'll do that. I
Um,
appreciate it. And to all your listeners, I say thank you very much. And hope to see you all again.
all right, appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Peace, everybody. Thank you for joining in this week. That was a very interesting conversation. Um, I learned a lot. I hope you guys did. I'm happy that we had that conversation. He was a great guest. Like I said before, I'm smoking Kim Dog. I'm smoking on some Kim Dog. What are you smoking on? God bless you. Count your blessings, everybody. I mean, it's a great day to be alive. Last week we had rain. This is the third week we had very good weather, sun. It's beautiful. You can hear all the locusts and crickets and things in the background. So, get you some fresh air. Get you some herbal remedy. Give some peace to the Most High and be blessed because you are. You're alive. All right? Peace. See y'all next week.